Hello, boys and girls. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Clayton Zoka, and welcome to another My Thoughts On. And today, it's another mystery My Thoughts On. And just before we get into today's My Thoughts On, I would like to suggest a program for you guys to watch. Now, if you love cartoons, if you love really dark and really dramatic cartoons, if you love Cartoon Network, if you have all four, I recommend you watch Samurai Jack. That's right, the 2001 to 2017 animated film about this samurai who gets sent to the future by this evil master of darkness named Aku, and he must go back to the past to ultimately stop him. I absolutely love this series. I didn't watch it when I was young. I mean, I heard of it, but I never watched it. But since I finally finished it, it's amazing. The animation is beautiful and stylish. The characters have great personalities. They're memorable. Samurai Jack and Aku are both great characters. It's epic, funny, emotional. It gets you sucked into the world. You care about this character. It's just a fucking fantastic show. Quite underrated from what I'm seeing. Series 5 is where the series would get better, not just because of Adult Swim. I mean, a little bit, but the first four series were part of Cartoon Network. And they still own the property, even though the last series was on Adult Swim, but still, fucking just do give this show a watch if you're bored, and we're in quarantine still. If you haven't got anything to watch, I highly recommend it. It's fantastic. So with that out of the way, I said to you guys that this would be another mystery My Thoughts On. You had 3 hints. The 3 hints were it's an Aardman feature film. It's from DreamWorks. Fuck, I actually forgot. What was the third one? I'm going to forget in a minute. Right, let me just get it up. I should remember, obviously, but I'm a person who can easily forget. Right, where is it? Okay, yeah, it's from Aardman. It's one of their feature films, and when I say feature film, I mean it's a film that was released in cinemas. And DreamWorks was also involved with it. And 2 people guessed 2 of their features. I mean, I've already done Wallace and Gromit: The Curse of the Were-Rabbit, which I love, by the way. There's 2 more. There's Flushed Away and Chicken Run. And one of them got it right, and the other got it wrong. That's right, today I'm going to be talking about Chicken Run. That's right, the early 2000s animated Aardman DreamWorks animated film that surprisingly became kind of popular. Obviously, I never saw it as a kid. I do remember watching it on, I think, VHS, because VHS was still kind of a thing in the early 2000s until I think mid 2000s is when they died out. I actually haven't seen this film in quite a long time. I've seen clips of it, obviously, but I haven't watched the full film in like what feels like 9 or 10 years. I hear so many people say that this is a fucking phenomenal, great family film, and they say it's one of the best Aardman films. I can kind of see that, and obviously I have high respect for Aardman. As I kind of look at it, and since, again, I haven't watched this film in a while, I think it's fine. I think it's a good Aardman film, but not the best. So, it's been a while, and I thought, it was on BBC iPlayer, and I thought, oh, Chicken Run, haven't seen that in a while, might as well talk about it. So, what is Chicken Run about? Think of it as like The Great Escape, only it's on a farm with chickens, and the owner of the farm wants to turn them into pie. So there is this group of chickens, okay, and they want to escape with the leader Ginger, who's voiced by Julia uh, Sawalha, who believes that if they come up with a plan, they can easily escape and go to paradise. However, Mrs. Tweedy, who's voiced by Miranda Richardson, and her husband, Mr. Tweedy, voiced by Tony Haygarth, are keeping a close eye on the chickens to make sure they don't escape, at least with Mr. Tweedy. However, all hope comes down. It goes back up once this rooster chicken character called Rocky, voiced by Mel Gibson, comes in out of nowhere, and Ginger believes that he can help them fly so they can escape. But time is getting quicker and quicker because Mrs. Tweedy brings this pie machine where she can put all the chickens on and turn them into chicken pie, not apple pie. It's like a kind of a running joke where Mr. Tweedy says, oh, is it going to be apple pie? And she says, no, chicken pie, because apparently, get it? Because he's a farmer and he likes pies. I don't know. Okay, so what can I say? Where do I start? Well, first off, this is an Aardman film. The first thing, obviously, to note is the humour. And what do I think of the humour? While not every joke lands, I think it's pretty funny. There's clever humour here and there. There's some good slapstick gags. The characters and personalities and characteristics is kind of what makes them funny. There'll be an occasional funny, like, hidden line here and there, even a reference now and then. Like I said, not every humour lands. Most of it's kind of like mid-2000s. Like there's a scene where a chicken falls on two characters by their bottoms, and I mean, there's no fart jokes from what I recall in this film. Most of it's kind of like a bit obvious and not at all funny, but I'd say about 70, maybe to 75% is funny, and the rest is kind of, I see what you did there, but it doesn't affect me. The plot is kind of well executed, actually. It's mainly about these chickens obviously trying to escape. And yeah, the story's predictable, but you kind of want to see how it unfolds, because you know what's going to happen, but you want to see the event. You want to see how they escape from these farmers and how they get out of, well, the farm. And the film did keep my attention for most of the time because I really wanted these characters to go, because they're chickens and they don't really deserve to be turned into pie. Even one of the characters gets killed. I mean, not on screen, of course, but you can tell this film is going for a more darker tone. Not entirely, but sort of. So that's good and all. I think it's incredibly well written, even if it is something we've seen before, but it's done to a pretty nice advantage. However, one of the few weak points of the film is that there is a liar reveal. And I guess this is a spoiler. I mean, I'm sure, I assume everyone has seen Chicken Run, so spoilers, I guess. So Rocky, when he lands on the farm, his wing's broken. And it turns out, when Ginger finds this other part of Rocky's poster, that he's actually a circus rooster chicken. He doesn't fly, he just gets shot out of a cannon, and that's kind of how he got there, I think. I don't know. So usually they would both argue, and I'll give this film credit that they kind of rub it off a little bit. Like she said, that's what she gives him a slap for him leaving them. But the whole, him not flying and him lying thing, it just kind of brushes off, and I wish they would kind of acknowledge that. It can be a little painful because you know what's coming. At least it doesn't execute it in the same way, like, they find out what he does, they argue, they go their separate paths. That's kind of how it goes, but it doesn't go exactly in the way you think. However, it's still a cliche that's not particularly great because you know what's going to happen, and even though things will work out, it's just that we've seen this so many times that it gets repetitive. Big credit to Aardman because even if the animation has more effort than their writing, at least they put effort in the humor. Even the drama and darker tones work. The plot, while we've seen this before, is done quite well and pretty cleverly. It's funny, it's intense, it's action packed. It's just a really super enjoyable plot. The writing definitely shows that these chickens are more than, well, being chicken. I don't know, insert a chicken pun here. Animation. Really? It's frickin' Aardman. Stop motion, claymation, it's never a bad thing. 9.99. The animation in Chicken Run still looks very good. I mean, come on, it's freaking stop motion. You can tell it does have the sort of classic Wallace and Gromit look, except the characters' eyes have coloured pupils around their small pupils. The chickens, although they're all equally different in terms of design, they do kind of have that little Wallace look to them and a bit of Gromit, especially with Nick and Fletcher, who look so much like Wallace and Gromit if they were both. Were they rats or mice? I don't remember. I like all the designs of the chickens. I think they look very cartoony, but at the same time, it does feel like they belong in their own world. Mr. Tweedy and Mrs. Tweedy look pretty threatening, especially Mrs. Tweedy, who looks even threatening there. The backgrounds and props look very convincing. There were times I actually did kind of notice that they used like actual real props. I'm not sure. I saw a custard cream there. I think there was like a letter as well. Little stuff like that is nice to look. It's nice to see. And there was like a spoon, and it didn't look like a life size. It didn't look like the ones that are the same size as the chickens. It looks like an actual life size spoon. And yeah, they would kind of make these items out of clay, but at least they did kind of use some real life items, which is quite nice. The way it's animated, the way the characters move, obviously it's stop motion, it takes time and there's effort put into it. You could tell the animators were working hard and they were having fun with what they were doing. The characters they move in a very cartoony but at times very smooth way, just like Wallace and Gromit. Even the action scenes is fun and intense and kind of insane and very impressive. Now and then there would be some CGI here and there, but barely noticeable. Most of the time it's claymation. And from there, Aardman would continue to get better and better with the stop motion. And this film, even to this day, it hasn't aged bad at all. It still looks fucking great. Even to this day, Aardman's animation still improves as one of the most recognisable animated films from Aardman. And I guess DreamWorks as well. But still, the animation is like laying an egg, but in a good way, I suppose. Characters and acting. Okay, so besides the plot being a tad bit predictable, the characters are, for the most part, passable. I like Ginger. I think she is shown to be a very capable leader of the bunch. I think she's likable. She can at times prove that she can actually lead them, even at times where the chickens can go a little bonkers. She's there to calm them down and tell them that they can get out of there. She's a bit stern and a bit bossy. She's shown to be, she is a little unlikable, but she's just doing this to escape with all her friends. Rocky, however, is the cocky, no pun intended, so full of himself and very and I guess kind of a lazy character. Even though we know he can't fly and he's just doing this so he can hide from the circus, he is at least funny and entertaining, but he can come off as a bit of a lazy douche. He doesn't really do much to make him like a fully fleshed out character, besides the fact that he's from a circus, like we find out later. But he and Ginger's chemistry is surprisingly kind of fun and a little sweet. Mac is the brains of the group, who's oddly very funny and fascinating since she is Scottish. I was going to say he, but the thing is that these female chickens don't have eyelashes, so I can't actually tell. Mac was the only one I thought was a he, because Mac's a boy's name, not a girl's name. I don't know. There's Babs, who's the more naive chicken of the bunch. She's the one that knits, you know. She can be quite sweet and funny. There's Bunty, who's voiced by... what's her name? I can't pronounce her name. I'll try anyways. Imelda Scarnton. She was... what's her face? Umbridge from Harry Potter. I was actually kind of surprised to see her here. Nick and Fletcher. Yeah, Fletcher. Sorry, Fetcher. Nick and Fetcher. They're both, I guess, the comic reliefs. They're kind of like the con artists or the salesmen. Basically, they're just kind of the characters who lay back and just watch what's going on. And when Ginger needs something from them, she has to give them eggs in order for her to get a spanner or something. They're both quite funny in that very typical British way. I think they're probably the best characters in the film besides Ginger, Rocky, maybe the next character, Fowler, who I really enjoy too. He seems to be like the always up on his feet. He's up on his feet, stern, talks a bit like this. And that's not an impression of him. That's just an exaggerated impression of a royal RAF soldier. I don't know. I'm actually kind of surprised that they mentioned RAF in an animated film. That's strange. He's quite funny as the very cocky, again, no pun intended, like sergeant-like character. And then another character I really like is Miss Tweedy. She's not your typical, like, lovely wife character. No, she's like a legit threatening, even kind of terrifying villain. She wants to turn these chickens into pie for money. At least her plan makes sense, I suppose. She's very funny, she's very threatening. I think she's probably one of the better Aardman villains out there. Although I do prefer Trumper and Preston and the Bakelite lady from Matter of Loaf and Death, but she is better than the Toad from Flushed Away and I guess Lord Noof? Point is, great villain. Mr. Tweedy is more like a dumb-wit, naive villain, although he starts to think that the chickens are actually planning something, and as you may expect, Mrs. Tweedy doesn't believe him. He's quite funny too and rather amusing. What makes these characters, whether they are not particularly memorable, actually I think most of these characters have their own fond of personality. The voice acting is quite great. Mel Gibson, good lord. I actually didn't know he was actually in an animated film, and especially one from the UK, technically US, but I'm actually kind of surprised that he actually does a really dandy good job as Rocky. I mean, yeah, it does sound like the typical Mel Gibson, very cocky and very all full of himself performance, but he's funny, charismatic, charming, and has personality, just like Mel Gibson. Julia Swalhar as Ginger, she's legit great. She sounds passionate. She sounds like she's having a legit really good time with this film. Same can be said with Miranda Richardson as Miss Tweedy. She sounds like she's having a whale of a time as Miss Tweedy. Timothy Spall, who is also from Harry Potter, is Nick. He's quite great. He would later be Bob Narr from Early Man. Same with Lynn Ferguson. No, not Lynn. That's Lynn Ferguson as Mag. She's quite great. I was going to say Phil Daniels as Fetcher. He's quite funny too. Actually, both Timothy Spall and Phil Daniels are legit funny together. Tony Haygray is very naive but fits the part of Mr. Tweedy quite well. And Bunty, Imelda Staunton, I hope I pronounced that name right. She's quite good. She sounds unrecognisable. The characters are all not exactly like the most deep characters, but they're funny, they have personality, they have a role, they're memorable. The two main leads, Rocky and Ginger, have great chemistry at times, and the voice acting definitely helps them stand out. I definitely say these chickens are definitely flying higher than ever. On a side note, the score, believe it or not, is actually from... I'm going to try and say his name because there's two of them. It's Harry Gregson Williams. And another composer who I'm a big fan of, I didn't know who was in this film, John Powell. Yeah, the How to Train Your Dragon, Ice Age, Rio, or a Blue Sky music composer. He's in this. Wow, mostly it's Harry Gregson Williams or some other people who composed the music for these Aardman films, but John Powell, that's equally as impressive as Gregson Williams' score. Look, say what you want about this being a childhood favourite, a masterpiece, one of the best animated films probably out there. People seem to praise the hell out of this. I can kind of see why, but at the same time, it's not a perfect film. In fact, I think it's a pretty great standalone Aardman film. Chicken Run, while not one of the studio's strongest films, is definitely better than Flushed Away until I do my thoughts on that, and I might do that soon. The film's funny, clever, humorous, dark, it's well written, the animation is wonderful as always, the characters are memorable, they have personality, the voice acting is top notch, the score is wonderful. It is a super fun film. I wouldn't say this is for kids, I say the family can enjoy this. Although the predictability and some of the cliches and even maybe one or two annoying humorous moments and maybe one character can kind of take away from how brilliant this is. But with those little flaws, I say Chicken Run is a pretty nice boiled egg. I really need to stop with these fucking shit chicken jokes. Anyways, Chicken Run, not the best from Aardman, but certainly not one of the worst. But I did really enjoy it for what it is. I would probably say 8.6 out of 10. Not amazing, but pretty great as a Aardman underrated classic. So there you go, Chicken Run. You know, revisiting this film didn't give me like any nostalgic feels. Maybe a little, but I am glad I rewatched it again because I actually like it a little more than I thought. So that's that. That is Chicken Run. I don't know what I'm going to do next. Speaking of Aardman, you've still got until Saturday to vote for which list I should do. The top 5, my top 5 favourite Aardman films that has no Wallace and Gromit shorts attached to it, or the top 5 great Think PIFs. Keep voting, and I might, since Flushed Away is on Netflix, I actually might do that. I might do my thoughts on that as well, since I'm in kind of a bit of an Aardman mood this month, and a bit of last month too. So I'll do that, and after that, I'm going to be doing my first Disney Plus animated. I've got. I'm sleeping on the wrong side of the bed again. My first film on Disney Plus, and that's Artemis Fowl. I'll be doing that Friday, hopefully. So yeah, what do you think of Chicken Run? Do you think it's one of the best Aardman films out there? Is it good, bad, decent? Do you want to see it? Let me know below. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe. And until next time, bye for now.